For every perversion, we saw a trauma at the root of it. My first job after I qualified was in plastics as a very junior houseman, and I was helping the plastic surgeons do the operations. And I thought, okay, well, this is clever that they're moving bits of the body around a bit, like plastic surgeons do, but what's happening in their head? How are you changing their head? And I went into medicine to do psychiatry, because I was always more interested in the mind than the body. And then when I went to psychiatry, nobody seemed to be thinking about it. And people were either not thinking about it, or a small group of people in gender clinics were also not thinking about it. And I thought, this is a bit strange. And then I went to the Portman Clinic, which is part of the Tavistock and Portman. And I was there for 12 years, training and working in forensic psychotherapy. And we all had a different niche. Someone had specialised in paedophiles, someone specialised in shit fetishists, and incest. And my specialty was gender dysphoria. So I set up a service, which I ran for 12 years until I left. And it was a psychotherapy only service. So there was it was not attached to any gender clinic. So what I wasn't was a gatekeeper. I wasn't someone to say, oh yes, you can go and have this, you can't have that. So people could be completely honest, and it was basically a neutral exploratory space for adults who came saying that there was something wrong with their sex or gender. And that 12 years really informed my understanding of what it was. Well, and if you think about the term trans, is a really unhelpful term. It's an umbrella term. So you've got people that used to be called transsexuals who believe that they should be the opposite sex. There was a small amount of them. Then a huge amount of what we used to call transvestites. Nobody talks about transvestites anymore. So the majority of people who were referred to as trans are transvestites. And there were either people who were fetishistic, so they cross-dressed and got sexually excited and would masturbate, or people who weren't overly sexually excited but were afforded some sort of advantage, like they felt more confident, or those are the transvestites. And a very small proportion were what we call autogynephiles, or AGPs, which a lot of people in the gender critical group confuse with fetishist transvestites. They think that every man who's obviously a fetishist transvestite is an AGP, but they're not. Autogynephilia is men who have this sexual fantasy of having female bodily parts.
Okay, as opposed to fetish transvestites who have get arousal from the wearing the clothes.
So the transvestite is you know that you're the sex you are, but you get something out of putting on the external vestiges of the opposite sex. And analytically, there was a paper written years ago where they described the young boy who has a smothering, overpowering mother from whom he feels claustrophobic from.
Yeah.
But so the boy with the smothering, overpowering mother, claustrophobic, then gets power over his mother by putting his mother on and taking his mother off at will. And there's that. So with perversion, with sexual perversions, there's always a root of trauma. And with trauma, you have a number of outcomes. Either nothing, or you get a bit upset and get over it, or you get something along the PTSD spectrum with nightmares and flashbacks, or, very rarely, you sexualize it. And by sexualizing it, you get dominance and power over what would otherwise traumatize you. There's no choice. You don't say, well, what am I going to do? It just happens. So everyone we saw, because the Portman Clinic was basically a sexual perversion clinic. It still is. For every perversion, we saw a trauma at the root of it. So the putting your mother on and off again is why a lot of transvestites look like Hyacinth Bouquet, because that's what their mothers look like.